Hey there, my fellow lunatics, and welcome to Dakon's Madhouse. Well, now, we have the full release of Corekeeper coming to us in only 13 short weeks. I mean, that is practically just around the corner. And in anticipation of the upcoming release, I want to talk about what we think we might see this August. But before I get started, if you are enjoying the video, please do me a favor, hit that like button. It really helps boost my visibility, and as a small channel, I do really need all the help I can get. Additionally, you can subscribe to stay informed of upcoming videos, and if you want to show any additional support to the channel, you can become a YouTube member, join the Patreon, or donate via PayPal, link in the description. All right, shilling out of the way, so in no particular order, here are my predictions for the 1.0 release. I think that we are going to get an entirely new skill. At least one new skill. Personally, I think we're going to get a couple new skills, but we're going to get one new skill definitely. Definitely, I say, but to be honest, I don't know. I really think that we're going to get some sort of magic kind of skill. It may not be called magic, but it's going to have some way to do some kind of limited spells. We've seen too many screenshots with wizard hats, and we have spell items already in the game with the tome, the blue leather tome, and the scholar staff and the fireball staff. And I just think that we're going to get some sort of magical skill. I also think that because of this, staves will no longer be ranged weapons, but will instead become magical weapons. I think maybe a couple of other items that we used to think were ranged weapons or melee even, might suddenly become magic weapons instead. I think we're also going to get a legendary staff, because we're getting this new skill, and I think they're going to want to throw in a legendary item to go with it. But what do you think if we do get a legendary staff? What do you think its abilities are going to be? Honestly, I have no idea, but I would like it to do like maybe 2 or 3 different things. Like maybe one attack is lightning related and another attack is poison or something like that. I don't know. I think we're actually going to get a new biome also. Now, you may wonder, where are we going to put this biome? In my announcement video for 1.0, I showed this screenshot, and I kind of predicted that maybe this was an updated version of the Ancient Well, which is an item that's been in the game code for ages, but it was never released. I'm kind of thinking instead this might actually be some sort of teleporting pad that sends you like either up a level or down a level. I'm thinking maybe up a level would be more thematically appropriate as you're trying to escape and get back to the surface, but it doesn't quite get you out. Maybe it just gets you closer, and now you're at a whole new biome with new stuff and new creatures. And so as such, I think we're going to get a bunch of new mobs, not just for the existing biomes, but I think we're going to get a bunch of new mobs in the new biome as well. I definitely think we're going to get at least 2 new bosses, both of them worm related. We already know about the one that's going to be coming in the wilderness, but I think we're going to get a desert related one as well. Now, we also currently happen to have 3 little circles in the Titan powers tree that are currently unused, and it's possible maybe that we are going to get, with these 3 worms, we will get these 3 new powers that come from it. Maybe they just weren't ready to turn the powers on when they released the Atlantean worm, and it's just something that's going to be added later. I could be entirely wrong. Maybe these 3 powers are actually tied to new bosses in the new biome, again, assuming we're getting a new biome. I definitely think that we're going to get at least 1 new pet, if not a couple of new pets. I don't think we're going to get a lot, though. I would say maybe 1 or 2 new pets. I don't think that's their focus. I think the same is going to be true for cattle. We're going to get at least 1 new cattle, if not 2 or 3 new cattle, because right now we don't have a lot of cattle variety. And now if you've been on Twitter recently, you'll have noticed that they actually tweeted this duck-like creature, and I think that is cattle. I don't think it's a pet, because pets you get from eggs. Cattle are roaming around, and in that video we saw them roaming around, so that's what I think we've got there. I think the rune song is going to get an overhaul. I think that acquiring it is going to become a little bit different, maybe even completely different. And I think that the ability for the rune song is going to be adjusted to make it a little bit more viable with what it is now. I think that we might be getting some updates to hard mode. You know, this is the 1.0 release, so we should expect not just updates to the main game itself, but to other game versions. And because of this, I think hard mode is going to get a little bit of overhaul to it. I hope that we get some unique loot and at least one unique boss for hard mode, but I definitely think that we're going to at least get a little bit more balancing and an update to the loot table, if nothing else. On that same front, I think that creative mode is going to get some updates. I am hoping that we get a search feature in creative mode so that we don't have to dig for every item all the time. That would be cool. I also think it would be really great if in creative mode we got some sort of feature to adjust our own story mode, because they're adding lore and story to the game. And I think it would be really cool if we got the ability to create our own lore and our own story for our own creative modes so that we can kind of build our own plots and build our own side quests or our own tales. And while I don't think that this is actually going to happen, I think that it would be a really, really good idea if we got some sort of way to convert creative mode into survival mode, so that after you kind of put together your unique story and your lore and all that fun stuff and build your special unique world, then you can actually have players play in it in survival mode and not in creative mode. I think that having that would give the game some serious longevity. So Pugstorm, I know you guys watch these videos sometimes. I really think if you're not considering this yet, you should really give it serious consideration, because when you look at games that last for longer, much longer than their development time, like Skyrim or many Bethesda games in general, it's because of modders, and I know you guys are pro modding, so having the ability for us to be able to create our own stories that we can then give to other people and tell, that is going to add some serious longevity to the game, and I think is definitely worth looking into if it's not already coming. I also think that we're going to get something that is Dakon themed, because I am awesome, and I'm actually just kidding. I don't think we're going to get anything Dakon themed, but hey, devs, you know, if you feel like putting a little purple top hat or something that causes madness effects, I wouldn't say no to that, as long as it doesn't mess up my screen, so that when I'm recording, I can keep wearing it. I definitely think that we're going to get a bunch of new weapons, armor, accessories. I don't think it's going to be a lot of these new ones, but I think that we're going to get some that have more unique designs in general, just for a little bit more vanity's sake. Much of this may just be new vanity items that we get, but that's okay with me too. However, I think we're definitely going to get at least a little bit sprinkled around all of the existing biomes, and if we do get a new biome, I think we're going to get a whole bunch of new stuff there. If you look at the Solarite workbenches, those things are pretty barren right now. So I think there's a lot of room to add a lot more stuff. Speaking of room to add more stuff, I think that we are going to finally get a rail system overhaul, something I have been predicting for multiple updates now, but has not come yet. I know the devs have talked about how they want to make rails a little bit more versatile, a little bit more useful, and have more variety to them. So I think that we're finally going to get that in 1.0, and if we don't, I am going to finally just give up on it. Additionally to just new stuff, I think we're also going to get a whole bunch of new quality of life updates. You know, things like better storage control options, better hotbar control, maybe more loot swapping choices, you know, between chests and inventory, that sort of thing. I think that maybe some of the features that are on the map tool website will be put in game. Maybe not necessarily directly in the map, but maybe off of the cartography table or a different kind of workbench that kind of enhances your map, kind of thing that gives you maybe more map icons, more map icon options, allows you to add the chunk grid or the spawn grid to your map overlay, or maybe allows you to add rings going around on your map overlay. The stuff that the map tool currently offers, but stuff directly in game. I think that would be a really cool quality of life update. I also think we'll get something like shovels getting the hoe treatment, so that the shovels get bigger spaces as they rank up, so that you're not digging up one square at a time every time. Basically, make placement plus a default vanilla feature rather than a mod. We already know we're getting a story mode. I mean, The dev Julian has been talking about it for ages, so we know it's coming, but we don't know any details. So leave your predictions as to what you think the story of Corekeeper is going to be. I mean, we know that your goal is to escape, but do you think there's anything else than just getting out of these caves? Leave a comment, let me know what you think. I think we're also going to get some fishing updates, because personally I think fishing needs to be more engaging, and so I think that we're going to get a bit of an overhaul to fishing, and that it'll become a little bit more interesting, and that the XP from fishing might get adjusted. I also think that a few skill perks are probably going to get rearranged, changed around a bit, balanced, or just replaced with something a little bit more useful, since there are a few skills in there that really have no purpose and there's no reason to ever use them. And if you're never going to use them, why keep them in the game? Let's replace it with something else. So those are all the predictions that I currently have. I'm sure that there's a lot more coming, a lot of stuff that I haven't even thought of, and I'm sure 2/3 of these predictions are going to be wrong also. But what do you think we're going to get with the 1.0 update? What is your biggest wish for the 1.0 update? Leave a comment and let me know. And that wraps everything up for today's episode. If you enjoyed yourself, please be sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you're interested in watching my videos regularly, and if you feel like adding some extra support to the channel, you can always join our Patreon or become a YouTube member. There are links in the description. Thanks again for watching. You're all wonderful, and until next time, stay crazy.